The moment the camera light turns red, the courtroom feels like a stage. The air thickens, not from fear, but from arrogance. She walks in as though she owns the place. Perfect hair, gold bracelets clinking against a designer handbag, that confident, almost rehearsed smile. Her name is Karen Whitmore, heiress, influencer, and self-proclaimed queen of confidence. To her, this wasn't a courtroom. It was just another place to perform. She adjusts her sunglasses, smirks at the bailiff, and whispers loud enough for everyone to hear, "I didn't think the room would look so budget." The people sitting behind her exchange glances. They've seen this type before, the kind of person who treats humility like a foreign language. And when she spots the cameras, her posture straightens. She knows millions could be watching. What she doesn't know is that in less than a minute, her performance will collapse completely. Judge Judy enters, small in stature, calm in movement, but sharp as glass. The audience applauds softly. Judy sits, eyes scanning the file before her without looking up. "Good afternoon," she says, simple, firm, emotionless. But Karen rolls her eyes dramatically and says, "Good afternoon, Your Honor," dragging out the title like a punchline. A ripple of laughter breaks from her friend in the audience. The courtroom grows tense. You can feel it, that sudden shift in air when respect leaves the room. Judy looks up now. Her eyes meet Karen's, not with anger, but with curiosity, like a teacher observing a child about to fail her own test. "Are you ready to proceed, Miss Whitmore?" she asks. Karen shrugs. "I guess so. I just hope this doesn't take long. I have an event at 6. Her voice is sugar over venom. Judy's lips barely move. Then let's not waste time. But Karen isn't done. She leans on the stand, flipping her hair. "You know, I love your show, Judge Judy. You've built such a brand. I mean, women like me look up to that. All this control, this attitude." Judy blinks once. No reaction. But everyone watching senses it, the quiet before thunder. In the world of justice, ego burns faster than truth. And that day, Karen's spark was about to meet gasoline. Karen's case is simple, or so she thinks. She's suing her former housekeeper, Rosa Martinez, for property damage to a luxury rug allegedly worth more than $5,000. Rosa doesn't even deny spilling cleaning solution on it. But what she claims, and what Karen mocks, will turn this ordinary case into a moral earthquake. Karen crosses her legs, speaking as if she's on a talk show. "It's not about the money," she says. "It's about principle. When people work for you, they need to know boundaries." Judy glances at the paperwork. "Boundaries?" Karen smiles wider. "Yes, respect, loyalty, and honestly, gratitude. I gave that woman opportunities." The audience murmurs. Judy lifts her eyes again. "And how much do you earn a year, Miss Whitmore?" Karen laughs, not realizing she's walking into the trap. "Enough to replace 10 rugs, Your Honor." "Then why are you here for one?" The silence hit like thunder. Even the cameras seem to pause. Karen forces a laugh. "Well, I don't see why that matters." Judy doesn't respond. She leans back, hands clasped, letting the weight of her question fill the space. It matters when principle disguises pride. Karen shifts in her seat. The confidence flickers. But she smirks again. "I think we both have a little pride, don't we?" Judy's stare turns glacial. "Not the kind that blinds me to justice." The electricity builds. Judy doesn't raise her voice. Her silence alone begins to undo the performance. The hunter has become the one being watched. What happens when the walls of privilege meet the mirror of truth? In 47 seconds, she's about to find out. 2 hours earlier, the courthouse steps gleamed under the California sun. The sound of heels echoed like tiny hammers against marble. A black Mercedes pulled up, its tinted windows sliding down with quiet arrogance. Out stepped Karen Whitmore, wrapped in a beige designer coat, her perfume preceding her like an announcement. A small crew of online vloggers followed, because of course she'd invited them. "Let's get this over with," she said. "It's just a housekeeper case." To her, this wasn't about justice. It was about optics, about proving that no one, not even a cleaning lady, could cross her and walk away untouched. In her mind, truth was negotiable. Image was not. Inside, Rosa Martinez sat alone. A woman in her 50s with hands that looked older than her face. Hands that knew bleach, heat, and exhaustion. She wore a plain blue dress, ironed carefully, and shoes that squeaked softly against the floor. She wasn't there to fight. She was there to defend her name. Her lips whispered something quietly in Spanish. Dios, dame fuerza. God, give me strength. She'd worked for Karen for 6 years, cleaned her house, cared for her children, even baked birthday cakes Karen claimed as her own. One accident, a spilled cleaning solution, ended it all. Karen accused her of theft, then disrespect. Rosa's daughter had begged her not to come on national TV, but Rosa believed truth, even small, still mattered. In a world that worships image, truth often walks in barefoot. The courtroom buzzed as Judy's staff prepared the set. Karen's friend whispered, "You're going viral for sure. Just stay calm, look confident." Karen smiled, fixing her hair. "Don't worry, I'll win. I always do." She didn't notice Rosa entering, didn't see the woman's trembling hands clutching her bag or the way her shoulders curved inward. Judy's gavel struck. Case number 412, Whitmore versus Martinez. Two worlds collided, one wrapped in silk and self-importance, the other in humility and quiet pain. Judy noticed everything, the posturing, the smirk, the whispered jokes. "Miss Whitmore, you're suing your former housekeeper for property damage. Is that correct?" Karen's tone dripped superiority. "That's right. My rug, Italian, hand-woven, $5,000, ruined because someone doesn't know how to handle cleaning products." "You're referring to Miss Martinez? If you can call what she does work, then yes." The audience stirred. They knew that tone. Judy said evenly, "Present your evidence." Karen gestured toward a glossy photo. "That's the rug, or what's left of it. That white patch right there, that's where she spilled bleach, and she didn't even tell me until I found it." Judy examined the photo. "How long after this incident did Miss Martinez continue to work for you?" "A week, maybe 2. I was generous. I told her I'd deduct the cost from her paycheck, fair and square." Judy's eyes flicked up. "So you withheld her wages?" "Not withheld," Karen laughed. "Just postponed. She owed me money, technically." The room went still. "You understand you cannot deduct wages without consent or court approval." "Oh, please," Karen said. "I'm not some corporation." The first crack appeared in her composure. Judy turned to Rosa. "Did you agree to this?" Rosa shook her head. "No, Your Honor. I begged her. I said my children needed food. But she said if I spoke again, she would call the police." Gasps. Judy froze mid-note. Karen laughed brittle. "Oh, come on, she's being dramatic." "Be quiet while I'm talking," Judy said, voice sharp as glass. "Power speaks loudly, until it's told to listen." Karen exhaled impatiently. "Fine, believe her. Everyone loves a sob story." Judy didn't move. "You're not doing yourself any favors." Karen smirked. "Maybe I don't need to. I'm sure the audience already decided. The rich lady, the villain, predictable." "I don't deal in villains," Judy said. "I deal with facts." She flipped through documents. "You submitted a purchase receipt for this rug dated 4 years ago." Karen smiled. "Exactly. Imported from Milan." Judy turned the paper. "It says it was purchased used from a consignment shop. Price, $800. The laughter wasn't with her this time. "That's not my assistant." "Your assistant or the truth?" Judy asked. Silence. "Did you pay Miss Martinez for her last week of work?" "She left before I could." "Did you fire her?" "Not exactly." "So she left because she wasn't being paid?" "I guess so." Judy leaned back. "You don't buy justice here. You earn it." The flicker in Karen's eyes said everything. The storm wasn't over. It was only beginning. Judge Judy's eyes narrowed, her voice lowering to command stillness. "Miss Martinez, why did you really leave that house?" The courtroom froze. Rosa's hands twisted a tissue.
Because I was scared, Your Honor. Karen scoffed. Oh, please, scared of what? Cleaning? Be quiet while I'm talking. Karen froze. Rosa hesitated, tears forming. She didn't pay me for 3 weeks. I asked her, told her my children were hungry. She said I should learn responsibility. Then she told her friends I stole from her. The audience gasped. Judy's pen froze midair. Karen's voice cracked. That's not what I said. Quiet, Judy snapped. Sit down. Karen's hand trembled. Judy continued reading. Photos of Rosa's children in front of an empty fridge. The truth didn't need drama. It just needed daylight. Judy looked up. You humiliated her. You withheld wages. You threatened her. And you call this
Full payment of withheld wages, Judy declared, plus damages for emotional distress. Karen nodded. Rosa wept quietly. She hadn't come for money. She came for dignity. In a world obsessed with power, the narrator said, one act of humility can still restore balance. Karen turned to Rosa. I'm sorry. I thought being strong meant never being wrong. Rosa's eyes softened. I forgive you. I just wanted you to see me as human. The room exhaled. Judy's eyes gentled. You learned an expensive lesson, Miss Whitmore, but not as expensive as living without empathy. Turning to Rosa. You reminded us that respect isn't bought, it's earned. Judy's power was never in her gavel, it was in her grace. Rosa whispered, Thank you for not hating me. Rosa smiled faintly. I don't hate you. I just pray you treat the next person better. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. Judy rose, voice steady. Respect is not a price tag, it's character. The line hung like scripture. 2 women walked in, chasing justice. One left with peace, the other with truth. Friends, the narrator concludes, what would you have done in Rosa's place? Would you forgive or walk away? Tell us in the comments. Share this story if it touched your heart, and join us next time for the story of a son who took his mother's speeding ticket to save her from shame. The lights dim slowly, the camera staying just a little longer on the empty bench where Judge Judy had been seated moments before. The echo of her gavel still lingers like a heartbeat. Rosa walks toward the exit with careful, almost disbelieving steps. The bailiff opens the door for her, and she whispers a quiet thank you. She clutches the folder of evidence against her chest, but it no longer feels heavy. It feels like release. Outside, the air hits her face like a baptism. Reporters shout questions, flashes go off, and somewhere behind the lights, she sees her daughter waiting by the steps. The girl runs to her, arms open wide, tears mixing with laughter. You did it, Mama, she says. Rosa holds her close, whispering, No, mija, we did. Karen steps outside moments later, head lowered, her once perfect hair slightly undone. The cameras swarm her, too, but not with the same hunger. The sound of her heels is now slower, softer. A reporter asks, Miss Whitmore, any comments after the verdict? She hesitates, lips trembling, and finally says, I was wrong. No makeup, no filters, no defense, just those 3 words. They sound small in the chaos, but for the first time they're real. The narrator's voice returns, reflective and slow. Sometimes downfall doesn't come from loss, it comes from awakening. And in that courtroom, a woman who thought she owned the world finally discovered she was just human. Judge Judy's chambers remain empty, a stack of cases waiting on her desk. Her glasses rest on the file marked Whitmore versus Martinez. On top of it, a handwritten note in Judy's sharp script. Character is earned in silence, not applause. The scene shifts again, the camera following Rosa as her daughter walks down the courthouse steps. Her daughter points toward the street vendor across the road, the one selling hot pretzels and coffee. Rosa laughs softly, a sound filled with exhaustion and freedom. They stop there together, two women who have carried far too much for far too long, finally breathing without fear. Karen sits in her car alone. The driver asks softly, "Ma'am, are we heading home?" She doesn't answer. She's scrolling through her phone, deleting old photos of lavish parties, removing captions about success and strength. For the first time, her reflection in the screen looks unfamiliar. Not the confident woman from her videos, but someone smaller, humbled. She locks the phone and stares out the window. Across the street, she sees Rosa and her daughter laughing. Something inside her shifts, a quiet ache that feels almost like gratitude. The narrator's tone warms slightly. Humility doesn't erase wealth. It restores meaning to it. And mercy doesn't belong to saints. It belongs to those who choose to change. Days later, Rosa receives a letter. It's not from the court. It's handwritten with trembling penmanship. It reads, "Rosa, I wanted to say I'm sorry once more. I'm starting a program for fair domestic employment. It's not forgiveness I want. It's a chance to do better. Thank you for showing me who I was. Signed, Karen." Rosa folds the note gently and tucks it inside her prayer book. She doesn't need to reply. Some apologies speak for themselves. The narrator's voice lowers, carrying the weight of the moral forward. Power without empathy destroys itself, but when truth breaks through pride, even the proud can learn to kneel. The camera drifts upward from Rosa's tiny kitchen table, past the peeling paint on the walls, toward the open window where light spills in like quiet redemption. Her daughter hums a tune while making coffee. Rosa laughs softly, a sound filled with exhaustion and freedom. For the first time in years, she feels seen. Not by cameras, not by judges, but by life itself. Back in the city's heart, Karen walks into a community center. The volunteers look surprised to see her. She rolls up her sleeves, quietly joining them as they sort donations, food, clothes, blankets. Someone whispers, "Isn't that the lady from Judge Judy?" She smiles faintly. "Not anymore," she says. And just like that, the story folds in on itself. What began with laughter and pride ends with silence and compassion. The narrator's closing words echo softly, fading with the image of a woman standing in sunlight. In the end, justice didn't humiliate her. It humbled her. It didn't punish. It purified. And that's why the world keeps watching, not just for verdicts, but for redemption. The final image fades to black. Friends, the voice concludes gently, remember this: every word we speak, every choice we make leaves a trace on someone else's heart. Some heal, some scar. But every now and then, truth walks into a courtroom and reminds us what we're really worth. A soft piano note plays in the background as the narrator adds one last reflection. So tell me,
If mercy were in your hands today, would you use it? Then the screen brightens again with the familiar rhythm of the series outro. Thank you for watching. Share this story if it touched your heart. And stay tuned for the next episode, a son who took his mother's speeding ticket to save her from shame. Fade to black.